Just because I watched your testimony you gave to the US Senate and 2 years ago as head of the International Campaign for Tibet, and you made the point that successive US administrations have been quite naive when it comes to assessing China's expansionist plans, China's moves to actually penetrate markets, not just in the US, but perhaps but across the world.
Sure.
Do you see that unfolding even more? I mean, we've seen it in India with clashes on our borders.
There's not an office that I've gone into in the U.S. Senate, the Congress, or State Department, anywhere, that the first thing they say is we have to do something about China. First thing. Everyone knows it's not Russia. Russia's not the biggest problem on this planet. It's China. I think there was a very naive period that started in the 1990s, and maybe even before that, certainly with Nixon and Kissinger going to China. But the thought was if you can raise a large middle class, an educated middle class in China, that naturally they're going to become a democracy and responsible and law-abiding and in international citizens. Well, it didn't happen. The Chinese Communist Party is too clever for that, and the resources they have are too vast for that. Now, if you do that naivete along with the economic promise that people could make billions and billions of dollars there, there's a certain hallucination that has taken over the world, that we can't cross the Chinese, we need them too badly. Well, we know now we don't need them too badly. What we need are good citizens. We need citizens of the world that we can trust, who understand the rule of law, who understand human rights.
I think at the time of COVID even more, when we saw the authoritarian clampdown on citizens' rights in China, we never knew the real information on how what happened with the COVID virus. So the implications for the world, I think, which are often ignored by other countries. Is it because of the economic power?
Naivete and greed, or basic ignorance and greed are a very toxic combination. And that has created this hallucination. Now, it's a completely authoritarian country, of course. And being one, they can be monolithic in this message that they put out over and over and over again. Democracies change. We have new presidents, we have new prime ministers. They have a law now that he's going to be lifetime emperor of China. So you're going to have this constant, for decades, the same mantra of foolishness. The mantra that they've had from the beginning, that Tibet, since antiquity, has been part of China, is completely ridiculous. We just had hearings in the U.S. Congress about this. Experts from around the world, including China, came and said, of course, this is not true. China itself didn't really emerge until the present as a cohesive place. That the dynamics in Asia have shifted over thousands of years, from certainly the Mongolians, but even the Tibetans controlled most of Asia all the way to the Caspian Sea for hundreds of years. But it doesn't matter. This constant mantra of we are strong from the Chinese side. We have owned Asia forever. Tibetans have always been controlled by the Chinese. And they're doing this with the Uyghurs now. Interesting thing about the Uyghurs is that the policies that we see now, and clearly have been brought out in news reports, I'm sure you've done some here at NDTV, those were perfected in Tibet